Trolls are great fun. Many people on the internet take them to heart and get offended and hurt by them. I personally find them incredibly entertaining because once you understand the psychological dysphoria behind the troll, then it's just like in the movies. You can just litter the battlefield with them as far as the eye can see. Now, those of you wondering what I'm talking about, of course, me coming out and saying that, you know what, you can wear a mask. The president, his daughter, all these different people have stepped up and said, you know what, I'm not going to stick out like a sore thumb. If it means that much to you, I'll wear a mask. Now, the best way to deal with trolls is when they say they don't like something, you double down on it. So I'm going to, from this point forward, because of the troll response, attempt to design a new mask every day. Maybe every other day. I did 2 today just to kind of get caught up. The one on the right, of course, is a nod to The Empire Strikes Back. The scene in Hoth where Luke Skywalker is on the Tauntaun. Heroes wear masks. Even rebel leaders. So can you. And then the one on the left I thought was just kind of funny. My day job is complicated. Can we hurry this along? And of course, it's a masked bandit attempting to rob a stagecoach. See, there's a day coming when we're not going to take all this so serious. And this, of course, is the Florida Maquis Mask Store. We are up to 11 masks now. And given the way that the trolls are acting, we're probably going to have 2-3 dozen by the time this is over. So, and we are going to, of course, talk about it every day. Because that's what the trolls don't want me to do. Now, what if I told you that wearing a mask is actually good for you? Oh, that's it, Mickey. You've gone too far. I'm typing right now. I guarantee that's what's happening. But I can prove to you that wearing a mask will actually make you healthier regardless of coronavirus. And I have a personal story from my history that will confirm this. And I guarantee in my audience, once I tell this story, there are going to be people step up and say, oh yeah, I remember that now. That's absolutely true. So without any further delay, many of you know, former United States Army soldier, Army intelligence. First stop joining the Army was Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood. And I was a high school athlete, I was a football player, so I showed up in shape. Now, being a football player requires you to have burst energy, meaning that I wasn't a distance runner in high school. I could run 400 meters pretty fast, I could run 100 meters pretty fast, and, I wasn't fat, I was 5'10", 170 pounds. But when you join the Army, you have to run 2 miles in a certain amount of time, and I don't think up until that point I had ever run 2 miles. So my muscles and my cardiovascular system had to adapt. So I went from looking like a football player to looking like a runner. Just like everyone does. Now I spent the whole summer pushing up, Fort Leonard Wood, just like everybody else does in basic training. So I was a little bit thicker around the shoulders and the chest, but with skinny legs. Why? Because I was a runner. That's all you do. Run, 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 run. March, 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 march. That's all you do. So after basic training, went out to California. I was a linguist. So the first stop they give for you is the language school down here in Monterey. Now, in Monterey, California, it's very close to sea level. And it's a lot like somewhat of a military-ish college, meaning that there aren't drill sergeants screaming at you. And if you keep yourself squared away, you do what you're supposed to do, after the first phase or two, the first couple of months, they pretty much leave you alone. And you can do whatever you pretty much want as long as you show up for formations and you pass your PT tests and you're doing good in class. It's, very much more like a college. Now, I enjoyed working out, but I wasn't in a situation where anyone was really pushing me. So I could run my 2 miles in 13 something minutes. I could max out my push-ups and get pretty close with the sit-ups. So, had a great time here. I was here for 9 months and left here pretty good shape. Now, here's where things change. And a lot of you are like, what does this have to do with wearing a mask, McKee? Oh, just give me a minute. The biggest pushback to wearing a mask is what? Oh, it reduces the oxygen levels. You mean like, say, being stationed someplace a mile above sea level? Like my next duty station, Fort Huachuca, Arizona, just outside of Sierra Vista. Now, guys, let me tell you something. I showed up down here thinking I was in shape. I was not prepared for what the low oxygen levels would do. I really could not finish a 2-mile run. I went from being near a PT max to literally after a mile and a half sucking wind so bad I thought I was going to pass out. The first month was hell at Fort Huachuca. And I have that zoomed in here. This is Sierra Vista. This is the Fort Huachuca region. This entire desert out here is a mile above sea level. And you're really not prepared for it. Unless you have been training specifically for it. Now, I was there during the 80s. It's a very different place now. It's still a mile above sea level. And if you haven't trained above sea level, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But the idea is the oxygen levels are way lower. But after a month, something amazing started to happen. All of a sudden, my uniforms started to fit differently. Those legs that I had back when I was a football player, they started to return. My uniforms were tight around the thighs, but loose around the waist. And all of a sudden, my t-shirts and my button-down shirts were tight around the chest, and my arms started to get huge, but I had a six-pack. Waist size actually went down, and I gained weight. What was happening? My body was adapting to the low oxygen levels. And what that does is that increases muscle mass, it increases lung capacity, your heart, everything becomes more adjusted and more attuned to the lower oxygen levels. And you become seriously so much more than what you were before. Because after I finished here, oh, and by the way, after a year of not having drill sergeants, readapting to that was a little bit difficult. But before I went down to Panama and learned how to deal with the jungle heat and all that, literally I could run at a normal place, not a mile above sea level, almost indefinitely without breaking a sweat. Because it was so much harder on the lungs. But they adapt. And that's what I'm saying is the case. Now, my anecdotal evidence being one thing, guys, there are masks on Amazon designed to do this very specific thing for people attempting to work out and get to the next level. This is a Fit Game workout mask. 24 breathing resistance levels, training in high altitude simulation, increased cardio endurance. Here's a Vioxalign mask. Experience better workout, increase oxygen efficiency, improves lung capacity, strengthens the diaphragm, increases anaerobic thresholds, decreases workout time. They're all over the internet. This is the case. That actually wearing a mask, yes, for a minute, will be a pain in the ass. And I guarantee you walking into the grocery store in a nice air-conditioned, climate-controlled environment, wearing a mask for an hour to get your groceries, isn't going to make you pass out. Trust me on this one, guys. I have personal experience that can attest to this. Yeah, you're not going to like it for a minute. You're not going to like it for a minute. It's going to be uncomfortable for a minute. But your body will adapt. Go find anyone who is serious about working out, who has gone to the next level, and ask them about this technique. It works. Every exercise physiologist out there will tell you this works. It sucks when you first start it. Absolutely. Without a doubt. But trust me, you will be bigger, stronger, healthier, in better shape if you can gut it out and suck it up and get to the other side. Believe me, I was in better shape after I left AIT at Fort Huachuca than I was after I left basic training, by far. I was bigger, I was stronger, I was faster, I could run farther faster, I could do more push-ups. There was no metric that you and the way I looked, I wish I had pictures from that era to show you. It wasn't real high on our list of things to do to be taking pictures of each other, especially in intelligence services. But believe me, it will make a difference. And trust me, guys, if you want to get the ladies, there's nothing like having big chest, big shoulders, small waist. And it does the equivalent thing for women as well. Tones up and makes you look like you want to look, like you wish you could look. This is one of those secrets they don't talk about. This low oxygen level working out, this anaerobic working out. Now, have at it, trolls. Attempt to debunk known exercise physiology. For a simple 3x3 piece of cloth that, oh, by the way, you can advertise your support for Mr. Trump. You can advertise your support for your weapon of choice, I guess. You can advocate for the unborn. You can promote the gospel of Jesus Christ. Or you can even just have a little bit of fun and make yourself anonymously deplorable. Have your day job be a stagecoach robber, or you can give a nod to Star Wars. Totally up to you. And I will, of course, give you the link to this store, which is going to be easier than giving you 9 specific links, or in this case, I guess 11. You can just go to, I have created a specific store just for the masks. So you click on that link, this page you're looking at will pop up, and then, of course, you can choose whichever one you want and go from there. So anyway, I will leave it there. Heroes wear masks. You can too. It's not that complicated. But trolls, please, keep it up. Keep it up. We'll talk about masks every single day. First 5 minutes of the video, we'll have brand new designs. I'll put posts over at the communities tab. That's how you deal with trolls. Like, share, subscribe.